And pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Shout Stadium as the first pitch of our third game today is underway. Maryland taking on Connecticut. Maryland is our visiting team, and they are up first, and they are going to be led off today by Eric Risnichak. First one is swung on and missed. 1-1 the count to Risnichak. We followed by Lane Weissmuller and Jimmy Kirk here in the first inning. The next one cut on and missed for strike two. 1-2 the count. The next one is low for ball as you take a look at our starting pitcher, Grady Gollier. That's a 2-2 count now on Risnichak. From the stretch. Breaking ball misses inside. And the count now full at 3-2. We'll probably wind up giving you the lineups in the second inning. And that's one of the things that with games like these, and we do want to apologize for this, there is so quick of a turnover between the two games. The next one is chopped foul. Good at bat here by Risnichak. There is so quick of a turnover between the two games that it is very, very difficult at times to get lineups to that point with any sort of timing before the game, as that one is bounded out towards the right side. Nice play by Gollier, and he'll apply the tag for the first out of the inning. I'll bring up Lane Weissmuller. Case in point, that last, literally, before we were going on air today, and when I say literally before we were going on air, we were at the Connecticut dugout getting their lineup as the warm-ups were going on the field. The next one is a ground ball out towards second. Throw on to first is in time. And there are two away for Jimmy Kirk. Kirk standing in. Base is empty and two down. Gollier with the first on the way. Fastball called strike.
That's a hammer of a curveball by Gollier. He's throwing pretty hard in his warm-ups as well with his fastball.
The 0-1. Another good breaking ball there. Had Kirk off balance. I think in two, we seem to have lost our home plate umpire for the moment. So the base umpire is actually, you can see him right there on the monitor calling balls and strikes behind the mound. The next one is down and away. 1-2 the count. Gollier with the 1-2. Hit him. No. Kirk, I don't think quite realizes that he's supposed to stay here, and the count's going to reset to 0-2 since he had two strikes on him, but it's fastballs only now. In case you weren't with us for the first game, walks or hit batsmen, the balls reset, the strikes stay the same. The next one is a fastball foul tip for strike three. At the side is retired. We head to the bottom of the first. It is Maryland 0, Connecticut coming to bat. Bottom half of the first inning. As you see Jacob Zuniga on the mound for Maryland. Our Lady of Good Counsel. Again, Maryland versus Connecticut. It'll be Mika Peterson to lead things off for Connecticut. Zuniga into the wind, and the first on the way to Peterson. It's a ground ball out towards third. Picked and thrown over to first base by Ryan Maloney. One down. That'll bring up Tristan Jones. Jones from Greens Farms High School. Class of 2022 is the first on the way from Zuniga. Is a fastball upstairs, 1-0.
And this Connecticut squad using wooden bats. So I like, the natural sound of that wood bat upon contact.
The next one is up high for a ball. Check that. Over for a strike, 1-1. Wind and Zuniga with the 1-1. Good breaking ball over for a strike, 1-2 the count. And, that's one thing about Connecticut. A lot of the players on Connecticut, if they're looking to advance to another level, they might be playing ball in Connecticut. As the next one, curveball hook called strike 3. 2 down in the inning, and the batter will be Brett Davino. You look at some of their options to play ball. You look at a place like Post University, you look at the D2 schools in Connecticut. All of them are wood bat schools with the exception of the University of Bridgeport. Davino stands in, one of the younger guys, a class of 2023 from Nottawag High School. The first pitch is outside for a ball, 1-0. Because the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference and the Northeast 10 Conference are both wood bat collegiate leagues. The East Coast Conference does use aluminum, and thus when you get into the NCAA tournament at the D2 level in the East region, you are going to use aluminum bats. But with the NE10 and CACC both being wood bat leagues, a lot of Connecticut high schools do use wood themselves, as that one's bounded back to Zuniga in a very quick and easy 1-2-3 inning. For Jacob Zuniga, we head to the second. No score between Maryland and Connecticut. Top half of the second inning. So it'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. Ryan Maloney, Jake Holt, and Grant Smeltzer. This Maryland team brings in players from a couple of different states. The first pitch to Maloney is cut on and missed for a strike. 0-1 the count. Good first inning from both pitchers. The next one is upstairs for a ball. 1-1 the count to Ryan Maloney. Gollier. Working exclusively from the stretch. Not much of a stop. That was pretty close to a ball because he missed upstairs with that one. 2-1. 78 with the fastball. He's been going 77, 78 with the fastball thus far. The next one is fouled off. 2-2 the count to Maloney. Gollier ready. And the 2-2. Outside for a ball with a fastball, and the count now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Maloney. The 3-2. Outside ball 4, so we'll reset again at 0-2, and only fastballs coming in. If you haven't been with us for the first 2 games, innings go to either the next one is called strike 3. So that'll let's lead off with that there. If you either draw 4 balls, you walk, or you are hit by a pitch, the balls reset, the strikes remain the same. So when he got to a 4-2 count, he reset, and there were 4 balls, 2 strikes. However, at that point, the pitcher is only allowed to throw fastballs. So at least you know what's coming at that point. Is the first pitch to Holt. Is over for a strike, nothing in 1. The 0-1. Outside for a ball, 1-1.
And I know you're not traditionally, in these rules, you're supposed to throw only fastballs after a 4-ball count, but it's been all fastballs this inning so far.
The next pitch is over for a strike. 1-2, the count to Holt. Catcher from Dallastown Area High School. From the stretch, the 1-2. Nubbed off the end of the bat foul. A good job by the first baseman to just kind of go over, creep, and take a look at that one. It's Andrew Cavini over at first base.
And the difference between a metal and a wood bat, that bat might have shattered had this been a Connecticut player up at the box, hitting it off the tail end there. But metal a little bit harder to crack the surface of.
The 1-2. Fastball upstairs. 2-2 the count on Holt. From the stretch. The 2-2. Lined out towards short. 1 hop. The throw on to first is in time. So 5 up, 5 down so far for Grady Gollier. I'll bring up Grant Smeltzer. Smeltzer out of Central York. And we mentioned that this Maryland team pulls players in from all over. His first pitch is outside for a ball. 1-0 the count to Smeltzer. Misses outside again. 2-0. Sun's starting to peek through once again.
It's been mostly overcast, but it's been nice having that overcast for the last game and a half.
Check swing, foul, first base side out of play. 2-1 the count to Smeltzer. And it has been all fastballs this inning thus far for Grady Gollier. Stretch. The 2-1. Smacked foul down the first base side again. That one will go out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Smeltzer. Good job by Gollier battling back. After falling behind 2-0, evening the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2. Just missed outside for a ball.
That's a tough spot on the outer half of the plate not to get the call. It did look a little bit off the corner, though. Good spot to hit there by Gollier trying to get Smeltzer to chase.
The 3-2. Fouled back. And that's sometimes the difference between the umpires. Maybe in the first couple of games with a different home plate umpire, you would have had that call to strike. The stretch. Another 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 punch-outs in the inning, 3 overall for Gollier, and the side is retired. We go to the bottom of the second inning. No score on SFBN. bottom half of the second inning. It'll be Alberto Candellini, Andrew Cavini, and Tyler McLean to face off against Jacob Zuniga. Candellini, Northwestern Regional School District 7. See skies one up over the top, foul. Nothing in one, the count to Cannellini. Both pitchers in this one have been very good early on.
Yeah, a lot of fastballs in and around the zone, not wasting any time, going right at these hitters.
Zuniga with the 0-1. Fastball upstairs. You can see that took a little bit off of that one. Coming in at 79, his fastballs have been 83, 84 so far today. The wind and the 1-1. Good curveball dropped in on the inner half.
That was filthy. Mixing in that curve. Able to aim it at the hips, and it comes right back in at the last second for that called strike. That'll freeze a hitter in a 2-strike count.
The 1-2. Fastball fights it off. That's where that curveball is such a dangerous weapon. I mean, you're looking 83, 84 with the fastball, and then all of a sudden, that hook comes in on the inner half at 67. You know, Warren Spahn said it. Hitting his timing, pitching is upsetting that timing. The next one is a ground ball nubbed foul down the third base side. Count remains 1-2. Well, that's a good way to upset that timing. I would not be surprised if he dropped that curveball in here after 2 straight fastballs that have been fouled off.
Precisely. I mean, 81, 83 on the gun on back-to-back pitches. Watch him spot outer half of the plate. Looks like they might be setting up there.
Well, that missed the target, and that might have been a bit of a cross-up as well because, again, the catcher, as you said, setting up outer half. And that one just kind of flew up and in. 2-2 the count. The 2-2. Fastball is driven out into left center field. Left fielder Smeltzer, though, makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Now I'll bring up Andrew Cavini. Cavini, 6'1", 2022 from Greens Farms High School. It's the first on the way. Out in front of that changeup. Nothing in one, the count to Cavini. Sorry,
I was going to say, it's 74 on the gun on a changeup. That's a nice drop-off of about 10 miles an hour from the fastball.
This fastball misses up 1-1, but, I mean, we've seen 3 pretty good pitches here.
Right.
You know, we've seen the fastball, and again, it is about changing speeds, but for the most part, Zuniga has shown the ability to command. That one's over for a strike. 1-2. Again, 83, 84 on the fastball, 74, 75 on the changeup, and then that slow curve coming in at 67. 3 pretty good pitches to be able to drop in on him. So that fastball misses up and away.
Yeah, at this level, hitters are just used to, it's tough enough for them to hit guys with 2 pitches. So you mix in a third consistently, makes you a really difficult guy to have contact against.
And there's that curveball that misses just down and away. And, you know, that's what we're talking about. He's thrown mostly fastball changeup so far. The count is full 3-2. But he's thrown mostly fastball changeup to this point. And every now and then he'll drop that curveball in as the next one is fouled back by Cavini. Count remains 3-2. See if he goes back to that curveball here. Because, again, if he misses with it, then he still has an 0-2 count. And, yes, he can only throw fastballs at that point. But see if he winds up going back to the curveball. He still can.
Ooh.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
He went back to it all right, and he broke off a gross pitch that came right back on the outer half of the plate to the left-hander. That's a perfect way to snap it off to get strike 3.
So 2 down. And I'll bring up Tyler McLean. McLean out of Amity High School. The wind and the first on the way to McLean. Fastball outside corner, knee high for a strike, nothing in one. wind and the 0-1. Lifted down the right side. That's going to drift foul and out of play. Nothing into the count on McLean.
And this is a count where a guy like Zuniga is so dangerous because you mentioned the 2 pitches he could go to now, has his entire arsenal to play with.
The next one is bounced foul. I think that was the changeup there. Took a tiny bit off of that one.
What he could do here is he could either go to the curve or he could elevate a fastball to set up for the curve on the 1-2 count.
Grounded foul. On the fastball down. I like your idea though of going up with a fastball because that has the opportunity to do 2 things. As you said, one, it could set up a curveball on either a 1-2 count, or you could, quite frankly, get him to chase and strike out on it. From the wind, the 0-2 again. Raise the fastball up. I don't know if he wanted it that far up. I mean, it's one thing to change the sight line. It's another thing to give a guy a chance to throw a pitch that there's no chance he's going to chase. Unless you're me in the last at-bat of the season of a playoff game. That's a painful memory from when I was 16. The 1-2. And there's the curveball grounded out towards short. Circling around, throw on the run is in time. And the side is retired. We played 2 scoreless. We head to the 3rd between Connecticut and Maryland. Trace Florio, the new pitcher on for Connecticut. 2 innings from Gollier, no hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts. Florio now coming from the left side. First pitch is outside for a ball to Blaze Tanner, the shortstop. 1-0 the count. To Tanner. From wind, the 1-0. Outside for a ball, and it's 2-0. We have seen the second pitchers for teams struggle at times in games thus far today. So we'll see if Florio can buck that trend. That one is off the fist, popped into foul territory down the right side, and that'll get out of play.
What's interesting to consider, and I'm not sure if this is the case for a lot of these guys who come in relief, but since these are showcase games, a lot of these guys are starting pitchers, so they're not used to coming in out of the pen. They're typically starting games. They have their routines that they get into in the first couple of innings.
Next one is down and away for a ball, 3-1. That's an excellent point, as these guys are used to starting. So the fact that they are coming on out of the bullpen, at least they're starting an inning, but there is a different element to it, as the 3-1 is low for ball 4, so we'll reset at 0-1. Fastballs only from Trace Florio the rest of the way. The 0-1, down and away for a ball, and it's 1-1. Florio kicks into his wind, the 1-1. Popped up, out of play, foul, first base side. 1-2 to Blaze Tanner. He'll be followed by Gavin Flinchbaugh and the pitcher Jacob Zuniga. Time is called and Florio steps off the mound. 1-2. Bounces for a ball, 2-2.
Sun really starting to peek out through those clouds now. But it's a lot cooler of a day than I anticipated originally coming into this one, Chad. And I think that's been a good thing for all these kids out there as well.
The next one is lined out into center field. Drifting over towards right center. And the catch is made for the first out of the inning. That was Nick Colucci out there in right. We'll bring up Gavin Flinchbaugh. I love that name, by the way.
It's got a nice ring to it.
By the way, you're talking about the fact that it's nice and cool. You're the one sitting next to the fan.
Well, that's fair.
That one is popped up on the right side, fouling out of play, nothing in one.
I do think, though, in general, having roamed the facility, it's a lot cooler of a day than I expected it to be.
It is a little bit cooler. It is a couple of degrees less. The humidity is a little higher than I'd like. But, I mean, 22% is higher than I'd like in humidity, as the next one is down and away for a ball. I do really well in, like, Tucson or Palm Springs.
Really? That's your wheelhouse for temperature right there?
You know what? I can handle 110 so long as there's like 5% humidity.
Right.
Next one is down low for a ball. 2-1. And I mean, I say that literally having been to one of those cities back in February.
Right.
Not of this year, 5 years ago. So I say that it's more a theory, not an actual in practice. The next one misses down and away. 3-1. It was in Tucson in the first week of February in 2015.
Okay.
Although, as you might expect, of course I have a story from that. The next one is inside for ball, so we'll reset to 0-1.
Well, what's the story?
I was going to say, well, I mean, now that we have only one out in the inning and a fresh count. So, by the way, remind me that I need to tell you the ending or the follow-up to that other story about the 17-inning game between innings. The next one is fouled off. Nothing into the count. So the school that I was working for at the time, the University of New Haven, which is also how I know how to pronounce some of these Connecticut town names, because they do not always pronounce the way you think they do. But with that being, notwithstanding, the next one is down and away for a ball. 1-2. The softball team played at the NFCA Leadoff Classic out there. Well, I got to go out there and, follow the team, document everything, and also broadcast the games. Because that's, what I do is that one is hit out into center field. Center fielder fighting the sun, using his glove to shield from the sun. Well, one thing I normally do at the beginning of every game is, first pitch is at and name a time, and then, game time temperature is, and then name the temperature. So understand, this is February 4th, and there were 5.5 inches of snow on the ground back home in Connecticut, back home in West Haven, Connecticut.
Right.
I go on air as the first pitch to Zuniga is upstairs for a ball, 1-0. First pitch today at 11:06 a.m. Mountain Time. Game time temperature, I am sorry to the folks back home, 81 degrees under bright sunny skies. I got 4 texts within 90 seconds that I could not read back on air. The next one, a hot shot through the left side for a base hit. So Zuniga, the first base runner for either team in the game.
Let's go. Let's get this last one.
And I'll bring up Austin Kiefer.
Yeah, it's always nice in the wintertime to either head west or south, somewhere where it's a little bit better of a climate.
It is the first time I ever got a chance to experience a field temperature that was lower than the actual temperature itself. The first pitch is grounded foul, third base side, nothing in one. There was one day where it was 82 degrees and it felt like it was 78 out. It was glorious.
I've only experienced the opposite. I lived in an apartment in Boston, which is a half mile away from Fenway Park. And if anybody knows anything about Fenway, Fenway is the name of the swamp that Fenway Park was built on back in the day. So the humidity in the summertime with no AC in your apartment, it can be pretty brutal with just a fan on.
Have you ever been to Evansville, Indiana?
I have not.
First of all, it's actually a fun town. A lot of people think of what's fun in Evansville, Indiana. It is actually quite an enjoyable town, especially on the west side, or if you're not on the far east side out towards Newburgh, which is where a lot of the teams have to stay. But if you're actually working there, there's quite a bit of fun to be had. Anyway, especially when there's a throw over to first. That gets by the first baseman, and moving up to second base is going to be Zuniga. One thing about that is that at least here we're going to have some airflow. Things are going to move. It could be a 90-degree day with 80% humidity, but things are going to move. Things are going to... Well, in Evansville, the only airflow you get is off the Ohio River, and you really don't want that. So you could start a series at... It is just a hot and humid place is where we're going with this. A very hot and humid place. But a great place to start a broadcasting career. The next one is high and away for a ball. 2-2 the count.
I'm just thinking about San Diego. That's where I was this wintertime at the winter meetings, trying to start my broadcasting career through meeting people there. But man, San Diego in December, I'll take that any day of the week.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking about is the fact that our wonderful, amazing boss, as the next one is swung on and missed strike 3, has just shown up with the relief beverages. And this iced coffee looks amazing as we head to the bottom of the third. New pitcher on the hill for Maryland as we begin this third inning as Austin Kiefer comes in. Kiefer. 6 foot, 165 pounds out of Northeast Maryland. They'll be facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Kevin Catragata, Jackson Tavel, and Nick Colucci. Good go for Zuniga. Went 2 innings. No hits as the first one is smoked into his home dugout. Nothing in 1 the count. 2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts for Zuniga. Boy, Catragata. He just woke some folks up.
Yeah, if you're not awake in that dugout, it's a Talk about us getting some caffeine.
Yeah.
That's a shot right there.
That'll get you on your toes. The 0-1. Breaking ball misses outside for a ball. 1-1.
Double espresso. Coming down the line.
It's from the line. The next one is high and tight, but so Contragata wakes up his own dugout, and then that last pitch might have woken him up. It's the 2-1. Down and away for a ball, and it's 3-1.
Yeah, 2:12 in the afternoon. It's siesta time for us all here. And, got to stay awake, though.
The 3-1. Upstairs ball 4, so we'll reset to 0-1. Haven't had to deal with this thus far in the game, but 5-batter limit in the inning, so 3 outs or 5 batters. The wind and the next one cut on and missed for strike 2. I'm going to say the scoreboard had 2 strikes already. I thought I had 3-1. The 3-2, or the 0-2, excuse me, upstairs for a ball. Losing my count.
All of a sudden the cameras went off.
All of them?
No, it's just that.
Contragata digs back in. Next one is lined out into left field for a base hit. Smeltzer gets it back in. Contragata, the first hit for Connecticut today, and it'll bring up Jackson Tavel. You don't necessarily see catchers bunt very often. And you're down towards the bottom of the lineup. You've got your 9, 10, and 11 hitters coming up next. But with the lack of base runners, would you consider moving him over in this spot?
Well, I think given a normal situation where this isn't a showcase, that's probably what you'd see. However, I think most of these coaches want to give these kids an opportunity to get their hacks in the summertime. Everybody wants to swing the bat, so they're not going to play many games this summer. Might as well let them hit. But to your point, in this situation, yes, you'd probably try to bunt them over.
That is a great point. And again, the setting does kind of dictate it, as that one hit him.
It's a painful ball to take.
It really is, because it looked like it caught him right on the underside of the wrist on that left hand, on his bottom hand. I've taken one right on the back of the hand. The next pitch is over for a strike. Those definitely are not fun.
Yeah.
But I can actually imagine, because there's even less give on that bottom of the wrist, especially on your bottom hand as you're gripping the knob of the bat. That's gotta I mean, he's probably going to want to, get some ice on that either between innings or as soon as this game is over. The next one is an off-speed pitch fouled off. 2 strikes on Tavel.
I remember I was playing an American Legion game going into my sophomore year of high school. I got hit on the elbow 3 consecutive plate appearances.
Ow.
Yeah.
The next one is a ground ball diving stop by the first baseman. It'll get to the bag in time. What a play over there at first base by Jimmy Kirk.
The big fella going down low with a nice diving snag and then getting back up to step on the bag in time. I'm a first baseman myself. You catch a lot of flack over the years. People think it's easy over there. No, that's an athlete right there going down and make a play like that.
It's Nick Colucci, the batter. A look back at second, and the initial offering to Colucci. The runner did move up to second as the first pitch is high and away for a ball, 1-0.
So it's basically a sacrifice bunt.
Sacrifice bunt with some really impressive glove work being shown by Kirk. The next one is tagged out into left center field. Smeltzer is there, almost overran it. and then stumbles on his throw back in, and that's going to allow Catragana to move up to third.
Well hit ball by Colucci. I'm surprised that one stayed up in the air enough, hung enough for the left fielder to make a play. I thought that was getting down in the gap for sure.
It definitely looked like it. It looked like it had enough topspin, but all of a sudden it just kind of did hang up there. So that'll bring up Matt Spinner. It's Kiefer with the first on the way. Curveball outside. 1-0 the count to Spinner. Scoreless game in the bottom of the third as the next one is another curveball. This is outside.
Kiefer going back to the windup with the runner on third now. Are you a fan of pitchers going to the windup once that guy advances to third base?
Once you can't have him take an extra base, the next one is swung on and missed. 2-1. So like if you have second and third or a runner on third, or again, if the bases are loaded even with less than 2 outs, so long as it's what the pitcher is comfortable with. The 2-1 is outside for a ball. 3-1 now. Doesn't necessarily seem like this is going too well for Kiefer with that moment, but the idea is, so long as you want the pitcher to deal from an area of strength. The next one is fouled straight back and a count full at 3-2. So if pitching from the windup is what he's the most comfortable with, then why not? And here's the thing. For all the pace of play stuff that you put in, this does not, going back to the windup instead of the stretch, has no impact whatsoever.
Yeah, maybe a second or two at the end of the day.
The next one, swing and a miss, strike 3, took something off of it, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the 4th scoreless on SFBN. Top half of the 4th inning. Scoreless game. It'll be Risnichak, Weissmiller, and Kirk to face off against Trace Florio. Grounder back to the mound his first time up. The initial offering is a grounder out towards the right side. Picked on 2 hops. The throw to first is in time. A nice play by the second baseman, Brett Davino. And a much different at-bat this time from Risnichak. He took 6 pitches his first time up. This time hacking at the first opportunity.
Well, and I know he grounded out, but I'm going to give him credit. He ran hard all the way through the bag. And in a showcase like this, even when you don't get a base knock, you want to show, I'm the guy who will give my everything on every play.
First pitch is a ball to Weissmiller. Next one bounces up. 2-0 the count. It's interesting. Both starters went 6 up, 6 down, and both pitchers who came in the third, as the next one is down and away for a ball. 3-1. Gave up a hit in the 3rd inning. Check that. That pitch was a strike, 2-1. The 2-1. Grounder back up the middle. That'll be knocked down by Davino. But no play. And Weissmiller does what is arguably my least favorite play in all of baseball. Diving into first base.
There's one scenario it's acceptable.
No.
One. There's
No.
only one.
No.
You don't think there's any scenario it's acceptable?
No.
What if the throw takes the first baseman out the bag and his only play is to tag you on the back of the helmet? And you're sliding not to be safe at the base, but to avoid the tag of the first baseman. That's the only scenario where it's acceptable, in my view.
This ball bounces past Jimmy Kirk, the batter. 1-0, and on the wild pitch, Weissmuller moves up to second. I guess I would say maybe to avoid contact, which I would argue that, yes, avoiding a tag is that sort of a situation. Grounder out towards short. Setting a throw over to first. 2 down on the play. Weissmuller takes third. And it'll bring up Ryan Maloney. I just can't stand it because if, and again, now we have the debate because of what happened in the Olympics in 2016. But if Olympic sprinters could get across the finish line faster by diving, that ball hits the very front of the plate, and coming in to score is Weissmuller with the first inning or the first run of the game on a wild pitch, and it is 1-0 Maryland. But if Olympic sprinters could cross the finish line faster by diving than sprinting through it,
oh, the science proves you should sprint through the base if the option. I agree with you.
so the next pitch is swung on and missed. 1-1 the count, and I do get what you're saying. It just drives me nuts. I look. I keep up with the new trends. I accept new trends. I accept that change is inevitable in things. So in fact, I enjoy some of the analytics. I enjoy the sabermetrics. I enjoy all of that sort of stuff. But there are some things I'm going to be old school on, and diving into first base is one of them. I'll admit it.
That's fair. It's fair enough. I agree. I think that if it's a bang play at the bag where the first baseman holds the straddle, you've got to run straight through.
That one is swung on and missed for strike 3. The throw down to first is in time, and the inning is over. But a run comes across, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 1-0 Maryland. Philip Knorr to lead things off. Knorr, the catcher for Connecticut. He'll be followed by Peterson and Jones facing off against Austin Kiefer as the first pitch is upstairs for a ball. 1-0 the count to Nora. 5/7/2022 from Norwalk, Connecticut. Next one is swung on and missed. 1-1 the count to Nora. 1-0 Maryland. This one in the bottom of the 4th. The wind and the 1-1. Breaking ball misses outside. 2-1 the count to Nora. It's the 2-1. Hit out into shallow center field. The shortstop and second baseman converge. I think that one dropped.
It did. No one called for it, and it's one of those where it's in the middle of the infield, the exact middle between short and second, and the shortstop's got to know, captain of the infield, highest priority, that fly ball's got to be his. He's got to be screaming for it. Second baseman has to get out of the way there.
Tanner and Riznichak wind up coming together on that one. It's going to be an E6. Throw over to first, and Nora back in safely. Good job by Kirk to almost decoy him that ball went up the line. Peterson grounded out to third his first time up. That first offering is high. 1-0.
We had a play like that where we called it Big Red. So if someone from our dugout yelled Big Red, it was with a runner on second. It meant fake pick off the second. As that gets fouled straight back. Fake pick off to second, right? The pitcher would pretend he threw the ball over second base into the outfield. Everybody would start running towards center field. So he'd trick the runner to think, oh my God, the ball's in center field, let me go to third base. And the ball would be in the pitcher's back pocket. So if he moved, he's getting picked off. Worked a lot more than you'd think it would.
Did you guys come up with that play from watching one of the last scenes of Little Big League?
See,
That ball is sliced foul down the right field line. Foul by about a foot.
I've seen the movie Little Big League. Now, did my coach get the inspiration from that? I never asked him.
I was going to say, instead of calling Big Red, did he just jiggle the front of his hat, and all of a sudden everybody in the ballpark, including the security guard, knew what was going on?
Wow. Maybe our coach did a better job of getting people involved than I even realized.
1-2 is a breaking ball that gets by, and the catcher does not react. Well, hang on a second. Umpire is sending him back to first.
And he's saying it struck Peterson in the foot, and Peterson doesn't agree there.
So that means the count goes to 0-2, and that's actually a break for Maryland. The 0-2 is upstairs for a ball, 1-2. Runner on first is Nora. He reached on an error. So next one is popped up over the top. And that'll reach the berm back behind the plate. Count remains 0-2. It's a pretty good at bat here by Peterson.
Yeah, he's fouled off a couple pitches, making the pitcher throw the different fastballs and curveballs.
Needs to shorten up the swing a little bit for somebody who's swinging a wood bat right now. Definitely has an aluminum bat type of swing. A lot of arms and long in the swing, but at the same time, he's making contact, and as you said, fouling off some pitches, really getting himself into a good position to at least see another pitch. Maybe that next pitch is the one that he needs. 1-2 is lined out into center field. Catch is made for the second out of the inning by Flinchbaugh.
And to your point about shortening up a swing, a lot of kids, and I know I definitely was guilty of this as I was young, a lot of kids think it's about muscling up, getting stronger, getting tenser at the plate. In reality, it's all about getting your bat from one point to another as quickly as possible. That means loosening things up, just being loose, having movement, some speed up there at the plate.
Well, and one thing that you'll notice is that no matter where batters start, so the next one is fouled off on the breaking ball, 1-1 the count to Tristan Jones, who was called out on strikes his first time up. It doesn't matter what sort of funky stance you have, whether you're Julio Franco and you basically wrap the bat around your head, whether you're Mickey Tettleton and you hold it parallel to the ground. A beautiful curveball right there by Kiefer, 1-2 the count. Whether you're Cal Ripken and you just stand there basically straight up and down and rest the bat on your shoulder. When it comes time to get into the load position, every good hitter, the next one is a fastball up high, fouled off. 1-2 the count holds. When it gets to the time to get into the load position, pretty much every batter is in the exact same place. And that's what a lot of young hitters kind of need to get to, is find that place, find that spot in their load positions. The next one, curveball, strike 3. Second time that Jones has had that happen today, 2 down. And the batter will be Brett Davino. But again, once you get to that spot, once you learn where your load position is, that's when really impressive things can start to happen with the bat. So first pitch to Davino is a grounder out towards first. Eats Kirk up a little bit, and he will not make it to the bag in time. See, that's what happens when you dive to the base.
Well, in that situation, Kirk kind of has to there from that spot as a defender, because otherwise he's running through the runner there. However,
it's the runner's fault for being there. And anybody who is listening at home, please know I am saying that completely in jest. Runner has as much right to the base as the fielder does. And you're right, he does have to dive. It's just,
well, in that spot too. Oh.
Candellini is hit by the first pitch, and now it's going to be all fastballs from Kiefer.
That's a little bit different, though, for a first baseman to make a dive from so close, because a runner, for example, they could get into their full sprint and hit their max acceleration, whereas when you're only like 15, 20 feet away from the base, it's not like you're accelerating through the bag.
I know. The first pitch, fastball upstairs. 1-0, the count to Candellini. Second error of the inning committed by Maryland. Responsible for the 2 runners. Any runs that come across will be unearned. So next one is a good fastball on the outer half. 1-1. No, you're absolutely right. There is a huge difference between a runner who is accelerating for 85 feet before trying to dive and basically a guy coming from a dead stop diving from 10 feet away. So next pitch is outside for a ball, 2-1. The stretch. 2-1, fastball outside, throw back to first. Well, if you have a left-handed fielding first baseman out there, he is dead to rights.
Tell you what, though, for a righty, Kirk did a good job of putting that tag on between his legs.
He did.
He put that on between his legs and almost got the runner.
If you have a left-handed thrower and that glove is on the right hand, you can just drop that down. And is that ball 4 or a balk?
I don't know what the ruling is on that.
That was the 5th batter of the innings.
Well, so technically the run should score from second because he hit the batter. So
right, he hit the batter and then gave a walk. Okay, so we're going back. So I guess you can hit a batter and walk a batter, and then you reset. So it's an 0-1 count now an 0-2 count.
I think this umpire just wanted to give us a chance to see this at bat progress. I think that we're being a little bit loose with the rules right there.
I'm admittedly confused with the interpretation, but hey, I mean, at the same time, it would not be fair to Candellini in that perspective as the. Okay, now he's been hit twice by a pitch.
And I think that'll. Well, I don't know what's going on.
I am not quite sure myself. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't even know what the count is. We've reset it so many times.
You ever seen the movie Happy Gilmore?
No, but I was actually thinking of the movie Mr. Baseball.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know, that opening scene, strike 4, Jack, get in there and hit.
Anyone who's seen Happy Gilmore knows there's a scene.
Runners go as the pitch is low.
That should be a run from second base as we change innings, correct? I believe so. We got some stuff to figure out in this half inning.
We'll be back in the fifth. New pitcher on the mound is Carson Drake. We'll be facing Jake Holt to get things started. Pitch is over for a strike. 0-1 the count to Holt, who grounded out his first time up. Florio went 2 innings. So that one is grounded out towards second. Throw on to first is in time. He didn't dive. I think he more tripped over the base. And there is one. We've seen a little bit of it all today. I mean, we're also in our 19th inning working together today. So, yeah, you're going to see a little bit of it all. 2 hits, 1 run allowed by Florio.
Oh, looks like they're skipping over Smeltzer's spot in the lineup. Tanner coming straight to bat.
And that's exactly what it is. The next one is cut on and missed for strike 2. 0-2 the count to Blaze Tanner. 2 strikeouts, by the way, for Florio. I'll tell you about the new pitcher in a minute as the next pitch is called strike 3. 2 down. And it'll bring up Gavin Flinchbaugh. So, yes, we did skip over Smeltzer's spot in the order. New pitcher, by the way, is Carson Drake. 6'2 right-hander, 2022 grad class from Darien High School. His first pitch is a sharp fastball up high. 1-0 the count. Darien is really good with their athletic teams. Routinely sending quite a few players in multiple sports over to D1. Next pitch is over for a strike, 1-1. And, I mean, not necessarily small school D1 either. The next one is a ground ball out towards short and knocked down. And no play available for Clapsaddle. That'll be an infield hit for Flinchbaugh. And that'll bring up Zuniga. There's one thing, for a state as small as Connecticut is, they have 5 Division I colleges there. Next one is a ground ball backhanded by the shortstop. He's going to have to go the long way to first. And the first baseman is off the bag. That's going to be an E6. The throw took him off. So all runs will be unearned at this point. The batter will be Austin Kiefer. Okay, here's a little trivia question for you. 5 Division I schools in the state of Connecticut. Can you name them?
Can I name them? Oof. Let's see. Well, you already said New Haven, correct?
New Haven's not D1.
Oh, wow. There you go. On my first try, I swung and missed.
The first pitch is over for a strike to Kiefer, nothing in one.
I need some time to think about this one for a second.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. You can...
Obviously, UConn's on that list.
Yes.
Right, so UConn has to be. I'm just trying to think of some other schools.
The next one is fouled off. Nothing in two. The count to Kiefer, who struck out his first time up. I'm going to guess two, if not... Actually, there's 6 Division I schools.
There you go.
I take that back. There are 6. I'm going to guess 3, maybe 4 of them are going to... 3, maybe 4 of them might stump you.
We might have to get that in the next half inning because...
Well, if you want some time to think
yeah,
about it...
I need some time.
And by the way, that phone is not allowed.
I'm not using the phone, but I just need some time to gather my thoughts.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's one more obvious one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that the schools I know are D1. Because I could have sworn New Haven had some D1 programs.
So there is a Division I school in the city of New Haven.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I have the name of that school correct.
But the University of New Haven, which is actually in West Haven, Connecticut, is D2. Runners on first and second, 2 down. This will be the last batter of the inning, as Kiefer is the 5th batter. The next one is a fastball high. That is a mammoth secondary lead that Flinchbaugh is getting off of second base. He's going to find a way to score one way or another. The 1-2 is bounded out towards third. McLean has it. His throw to first is in time, and the side is retired. Chris on the spot trying to figure out our trivia question when we come back on SFBN. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Scoreboard says 1-0. We're going to go with 1-0 until we are told any differently, even though we thought, based off of some of the rules, it should be 1-1 right now. So, by the way, I apologize. I was wrong. There are 7 D1 schools in the state of Connecticut. For a state that small.
Right. Well, let me name the ones that myself and Ari Bluestein, our producer, were able to combine to get. So we had UConn, University of Connecticut.
Yep.
What is it? Central Connecticut State. Fairfield. Mm-hmm. We also had Yale, and I'm drawing on a blank of one that we said over the break. Oh, did I say Hartford?
Hartford.
So that's 5. We're missing 2.
So there's 2 more.
Yale would be. I said Yale, so that's
you said
one
Yale,
of the 5.
so that's one of the 5. As Smeltzer on the mound now, and Cavini is the batter. First pitch is on the outside corner to Cavini. 0-1.
Do you know the other 2 offhand?
I do. I've worked games at both of them.
There we go. We'll give our fans one full at bat to tweet us the answer. But
where?
At Marco Tweets. That's my Twitter handle. MarkotTweets. Weetz. You can tweet me there.
The next one is outside for a ball. 1-2, the count to Cavini. The line and a 1-2. Check swing. He did not go around. 2-2. So when you say one full at bat, we're starting with Tyler McLean, the next bat.
Yeah, let's give him to McLean. We'll see if my phone blows up in the meantime.
The next one is low for a ball. And you get the fantastically, amazingly wonderful prize of us saying that you are the most awesome person in the world on the air.
Of course. I'll give your Twitter handle a shout-out. Unless it obviously, you got to have a broadcast appropriate name.
There is that.
And that is for my discretion.
That is, by the way, some pretty big fastball. That's ball 4, so we'll reset to 0-2 here. That's a pretty impressive fastball here by Smeltzer, 84-85.
Oof.
Outside for a ball.
That
86.
Climbing up the ladder.
He's just getting loose, getting himself, as loose as possible here.
I think he could get up to 88. I really do.
Yeah, but is 88 worth anything if there's no command? Outside. 85. Definitely the hardest thrower that we've seen so far today. The next one bounces up, and that is ball 4 for real.
Look at this. Little bug just landed on my index finger.
Little fly.
Flew away.
I saw it.
I had it for a split second, all right?
You did. Jeff Goldblum would be proud. Tyler McLean, the batter. McLean ground out to short his first time up. Smeltzer's first offering is up and in. That's got to be a little bit harrowing, seeing the guy who's thrown the hardest out of anybody in any game thus far today come up and in on you. Again, so 7 Division I schools in the state of Connecticut.
No tweets yet.
Between Chris and Ari, we've got 5. So again, those 5, UConn, Yale, Hartford, Central Connecticut, and I forget the other one he mentioned. I don't want to get, and Fairfield. I didn't want to give the other 2 away by accidentally saying.
Yeah, we got those. So there's 2 left.
There are 2 left. The next one is inside for a ball.
Again, it's Marco
Marino.
Tweets. MarkotWeetz.
Called strike. 3-2 count. That cannot be easy, calling balls and strikes from behind the mound. The next one bounces up for a ball. Taking second on the play is going to be Cavini. The count's going to reset to 0-2. Fastballs only now from Smeltzer. Stretch. Next one is smacked out into center field. Center fielder traces back on it and puts it away for the first out of the inning.
Well, no tweets, so it's about that time.
So you've got to look to 2 different conferences. And
Oh, I just thought of one.
Okay.
Quinnipiac.
Quinnipiac is correct. Out of the Metro Atlantic.
I don't know the other.
So the other one is a crosstown rival of Fairfield as the first pitch is up high for a ball, 1-0. Actually shares pretty much the same colors, but is in a different conference. So next pitch is over for a strike, 1-1. It'll be the Sacred Heart Pioneers.
Sacred Heart.
So for a state that is tiny, as Connecticut is. So next pitch is over for a strike. I mean, basically, you can literally drive across the state diagonally in about an hour 45, and that's going on non-interstates. Okay, because you can basically go from like New Haven and the lower southeast area, like or the southwest area, like Darien, up to the northeast where Yukon is, on pretty much the Merritt Parkway. And then you finally connect with 84 outside of Hartford. About an hour 45. And again, that's going diagonally. So,
Just trying to think. New Jersey's about 2.5 if you went diagonally, I guess.
how can you go diagonally
But that's
through
the
Jersey?
thing. You can't. So
Jersey is definitely the straight shot. 2-2 the count.
Jersey just top on 95. I know some back roads. I can go diagonally through Jersey. I don't know if I could do it in 2.5, but
Called strike 3. And there are 2 down in the inning. If you think about it. Never mind. I don't know where I was going with that.
well, I'll tell you this: I can go east to west, border to border in New Jersey in 50 minutes. If you take
I was gonna say-
78,
I was going to say, if you take 78 and go basically like Phillipsburg over to the city.
yes,
His first pitch is over the outside corner for a strike to Jackson Tavel.
because I'm from Elizabeth. So if you take that like 78 towards Newark, right? If you
Right.
take it from Newark all the way west into the Lafayette area, because it's going to bring you in towards Easton, that takes about 50 minutes.
Nice shopping center in Elizabeth.
Jersey Gardens, baby.
So next pitch is inside for a ball, 1-1.
We got Jersey Gardens.
Two
We
and
got
one,
we got a big IKEA right by the Newark
I was going to
Airport.
say, and what's great about that IKEA is half the sales tax of normal. It's only 3% instead of 6%.
Yes, sir. I'm just telling you, man. It's the city I grew up in.
Hey, I've been to that IKEA before.
We got a big summer last year with the Elmore Troopers representing us in the Little League World Series, so it was a fun time for our town last summer.
You mentioned man on second. You mentioned, and actually not. I take that back. The man who just struck out, Catragata. That one, I thought that just clipped his jersey.
And it did. The umpire just making the indication that it.
Okay, so 0-2 the count then. And fastballs only. The Catragata, you want to talk about a team, it's academic now. City that had Little League World Series excitement was at 89. Trumbull wins the Little League World Series. That's the high school he's from. That's actually halfway between New Haven and Fairfield, where both Fairfield and Sacred Heart are. We go to the 6th, 1-0 Maryland. Eric Risnichak to lead things off here in the 6th inning. 1-0 Maryland on top. Carson Drake remains on the hill. His first pitch just misses away for a ball, 1-0. 0 for 2 on the day is Risnichak. You know, it's kind of funny that we've spent the better part of half an inning plus talking about how many Division I schools there are in Connecticut. It's all Carson Drake that we started talking about it because we started talking about the high school he comes from. and how they send a lot of guys to Division I schools.
Well, we have Carson Drake to thank for a great trivia question that I was not expecting us to come into this day with. So if only we'd let our producers know, we would have had a graphic for it and a sponsor. But
Well, I mean, again, we're in inning 20 of 28 right now.
we're freewheeling here.
Next pitch is outside ball 4, so we restart at 0-0. And fastballs only from Carson Drake.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned how many schools D1 there are in a state like Connecticut. As that pitch misses outside, I'm thinking my home state. I just want to get the exact number of New Jersey. I've never counted the exact number. I'm doing it in my head right now.
Of D1s?
Of D1s in New Jersey.
Okay, well, you've got the State University, which I, being a Temple alum, do not like saying the name of.
Wow.
So that one is fouled off.
So you got Rutgers. You got Seton Hall.
St. Peter's.
St. Peter's, that's 3. See, St. Peter's is one that'll trip a lot of people up every now and then.
Well, I mean, honestly, look at the Metro Atlantic, and you get 3 right there. The next one is a ground ball out towards short. And he's going to be safe. That's going to be an infield single, although that you could argue that that's an E6 because that shortstop took a lot of time to get set and throw that ball, as Lane Weissmiller will be the batter. Again, look at the Metro Atlantic Conference. You've got 3 schools right there in the conference.
Is Monmouth Metro Atlantic? I just want to make sure.
Monmouth is Metro Atlantic.
Well, we said St. Peter's.
St. Peter's.
And who am I missing? Let's see.
A little further south, close to Trenton.
Oh, Ryder.
Ryder.
Of course, Ari's alumni.
I was gonna say, really, you're gonna miss that one?
Yeah, of course. So there you go. We said Rutgers. We said Seton Hall. That's 5.
So first pitch is inside for a ball, 1-0.
Would I believe Fairleigh Dickinson, one of the campuses, is D1.
Yes.
And then not Rutgers Newark, but not TCNJ either. It's in Newark. I'm drawing a blank. NJIT. That's D1 for basketball.
That's right. They did move D1. So that's 7 in Jersey.
Just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody.
Yeah, because TCNJ, Rowan, FDU, Florham, they're all D3.
They are. But I'll say this. The NJAC, D3 in baseball, one of the better competitive D3 conferences.
It is a very, very good conference in baseball when you have a team like TCNJ. NJCU is also pretty good in baseball.
Canes had its couple of years. It's right by me in Union. They've had some years where they're either winning the World Series or in contention for it.
So from the stretch, the 2-0 to Weissmiller. Runner goes, pitches down and away for a ball. Stolen base for Ristnicek.
And now my theory on that is, I'm biased, but I think the NJAC is the best D3 baseball conference on the planet. It's up there. But I think a lot of the Northeast D3 baseball programs are very good because they don't get the recruiting that a lot of the southern area high schools get for baseball. I think that a lot of recruits in the Northeast for the sport of baseball just don't get the attention they would had they played in a state like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. And that happens to kids in Pennsylvania, too. Kids in Connecticut. Kids from this area don't get the looks that kids from down south who play year-round normally get.
Well, and I would agree with that, and I would also say that if anybody could ever draw a pipeline, whether it's from the NJAC, whether it's from the Middle Atlantic Conference, whether it's from the Landmark, whether it's from the Atlantic East, which is a newer D3 conference. If anybody could draw a pipeline, it looks like Drake is going to come out of this game. He has been wild to the last couple of batters, and you just hope there's nothing seriously wrong right now. But getting to that thought, if anybody could draw a pipeline to Florida, because there are 0 D3 schools in Florida.
Right.
There are very few in Georgia. Or South Carolina. So if you could wind up having somebody get a pipeline down to there, create a connection, all those kids that aren't going to, the big name D1 schools in Florida, or even smaller D1 schools in Florida like North Florida, which is still really good, or Florida Gulf Coast for baseball, or the big name D2s like Tampa, like St. Leo. If you get those guys who continually get passed over by those schools and aren't in that sort of situation, then you're in a situation where you could very easily get a lot of guys coming up to the northeast from there. So apparently, in order to get a player loose, in order to get a pitcher loose, Connecticut is going to give Maryland 6 outs next inning. So we are going to go to the bottom of the 6th right now with the score 1-0 Maryland.
Second week of March when it's
Bottom half of the 6th inning. Connecticut coming back to the plate, and again, in order for Connecticut to get somebody loose, the first pitch to Colucci is over for a strike, 0-1.
So when this turns over, though, we'll have the top of the 6th immediately followed by the top of the 7th.
Essentially, yes. The top of the 7th is going to be 6 outs for. The next one is down low for a ball. Top of the 6th is going to be 6 outs worth of batters for Maryland, so they can get that turn of plate, but also so Connecticut can have time to get somebody warmed up. So next pitch is cut on and missed. And again, as we mentioned before, Smeltzer is bringing some heat. He's been throwing 84, 85, 86. 86 is the upper end, so he's really been sitting 84, 85. So next one is a fastball down and in, 2-2. Into the windup. Next one is smacked foul. And the players from the next game need to scatter. 2-2 the count. You get a good look at Colucci there. You know, I like, and I'm not a fan, as the next pitch is up high for a ball. 3-2. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of the gradient uniforms. But these are done pretty well. I saw one. This is one of the worst uniforms I've ever seen, at least from a statistician standpoint, as that one bounces up, so we're going to reset to 0-2. Fastball is only now from Smeltzer. It is blue on the top, and it slides down to a white on the bottom. The numbers are white, and there's no outline on the numbers.
Is it light blue? Like a light blue?
A royal blue.
So I had to see.
Up and in. 1-2.
Colucci standing right on top of the plate, by the way. You can see that he's not intimidated by the fastball. Look at how close to that inner line of the batter's box he stands. But I saw a uniform.
Swung on and missed strike 3, so a strikeout for Smeltzer. And that'll bring up Matt Spanner.
A couple weeks ago, I saw a uniform at an AAU basketball tournament. The jersey and the shorts, light blue. The number, light gray. And I'm telling you, you see light gray on light blue, it's invisible. It's the same thing. From far away, no way you can make that out.
It's just as bad if it's dark. I remember one time a maroon number on a charcoal gray jersey for volleyball. His first pitch is Low for a ball, 1-0, the count to Spinner. From the line, the 1-0. High for a ball, 2-0.
It was almost like they tried to take, that old school Utah Jazz from the late 90s when they're in the NBA Finals against the Bulls? They tried to take that color scheme, but the problem is with those numbers, they made that white, and then everything else around it was a dark shade of whatever color it was, so you could see it pop. But if you go with two light colors on top of it, there's no way you can make out the difference.
So next one is over for a strike, 3-1 to count to Spinner. Base is empty, 1 down, bottom 6, 1-0 Maryland. The 3-1, strike 2. So Smeltzer has done a nice job after getting behind the last couple of hitters of getting back and coming back to get him. See if we can do the same thing here to Spinner. The 3-2, up and in, ball 4, and again we're going to reset to 0-2.
So only 84 miles an hour from here on out.
Called strike 3. Well, this pitching thing's got to be easy when you get to throw 4 balls and not walk a guy. I kid. I could never do it. And I'm not even pretending to. But at the same time, you're going to pitch and approach things differently. Mika Peterson's going to return to the plate. Looks like they're going to skip the pitcher, Philip Nora. He might be the one warming up in the bullpen. The first pitch is upstairs for a ball to Peterson.
I wonder how effective guys like Aroldis Chapman or Dallin Betances would be if you're telling me they had 8 pitches to work with out of the strike zone.
Negative ERAs. The next pitch is outside. So the next one is over for a strike. What's the pitcher's name in St. Louis? Jordan.
Ooh, I know who you're talking about. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
The one who threw 49 out of the 50 fastest pitches in the big leagues last year.
I know the name. I'm drawing a blank. One of the guys who pitches for the Cardinals, guy by the name of Alex Reyes.
Next one is over for a strike, 3-2.
He's had arm problems, but he pitched in my high school. I knew him, so he was clocking 101, 102 when he first came up with an average of 98.
So next one is outside ball 4, so we'll go again to 0-2.
St. Louis has had some hard throwers out of that organization the last couple of years.
Next one, swing and a miss, strike 3. So striking out the side, despite having the ability to get to 4 balls on all of them. That's one way to show what you can do, though. And that's what this showcase is about. 1-0 heading to the 7th. Seventh inning coming up. So what will happen here is, Connecticut had time to get a pitcher warmed up, and that's going to be the former first baseman, Andrew Cavani. Maryland is going to get 6 outs here in order to be able to work with them. They'll start things off with Lane Weissmiller. 1-0 game. Maryland on top. It's the first on the way. Is outside for a ball. 1-0. And now, I don't want to get ahead of things, but I thought I saw Cavini tossing a knuckleball during warm-ups.
You got me excited.
It's from the stretch. The 1-0. Next one is swung on and missed for a strike. Well, that definitely wasn't a knuckleball.
Now, with the 6 outs in this inning, just because we're making this assumption, I would assume, though, 3 outs, reset, 3 outs. Would that be correct? Or
You know what? We have assumed things thus far in this game that haven't been the case.
Fair enough.
Okay, so that was not a knuckleball that he was throwing. I think it was just kind of an interesting delivery and kind of a hesitation and throw across his body delivery with a fastball.
Well, it was the same delivery, but it plunked the batter there, so.
So, sorry to get everybody excited about a knuckleball. See, next pitch to Weissmiller is a ground ball. That'll get through the left side for a base hit.
Well, since you mentioned knuckleball, and earlier today we were talking about crowd noise, I had the opportunity when I worked in Boston to meet the great Tim Wakefield. And one of the more interesting things I had a chance to talk to him about, other than how he developed his knuckleball in the minor leagues, was his year going back to the minors after pitching in the majors being lights out. He said he had to find a knuckleball. But I asked him, I was like, would you rather pitch in a major league stadium on the road where 40,000 people are booing you, or a minor league stadium where there's 2 people yelling over a crowd of 1,000 and you can hear everything they said? He said, by far, it's a lot worse pitching in the minor leagues.
First pitch, Jimmy Kirk is swung on and missed for a strike, 0-1. Honestly, one of the best and worst experiences I had with a crowd working in the minor leagues was in River City, because there are 2 fans that sit right below the press box, right in front of the visitor broadcast area. They are loud. They are very, very vocal with their support of their River City Rascals, and they're always clean. But with how loud they are and how outspoken they are, you're always concerned that one time it won't be. And they make sure to put themselves right in front of your crowd mic. Runner goes, the pitch is up and away for a ball, throw to second, not in time. Stolen base for Weissmiller.
And he was off on the movement. He guessed this move is going home. He went as soon as the leg lifted. Got a great jump and an easy steal for him at second base.
And there is some hesitation in that movement. You watch right here. Kind of hesitates at the top of the delivery. Throw back to second. Not there, but again, kind of hesitates at the top of the delivery and then brings the arm forward. So he's throwing across his body all arm. From the stretch. The next one is grounded out towards second. Bobbled. And they still get the out at first. On the play, Weissmiller moves up to third. 1 down, and it'll bring up Ryan Maloney. Maloney struck out both times today, once looking, once swinging. And this is not Ryan Maloney, I take that back. This is Zach Scherzer, left-hander out of Daniel Boone High School. Which I should have realized, because that was part of the lineup card that we were given, is that Maloney was going to get the first 2 at-bats and then Scherzer was going to get the next ones. The next pitch is fouled off. 0-2, the count on Scherzer. It's the 0-2. Fouled straight back.
Made contact on the tail end of the bat there, just barely able to foul that one off. Looked like an off-speed pitch that had him a bit fooled.
At the ready. Another 0-2. Change up high. 1-2 now, the count on Scherzer. The next one is
Ooh.
just outside. 2-2 to Scherzer. Two-two. Smacked foul. It's the best swing that Scherzer has had thus far this at bat.
Good job defensively as a hitter fouling that one off, as the 1-2 offering was just a bit outside. He got the call, but it's a wise move there. You know that one was close. You got to protect here down in the count.
The 2-2. Bouncer out towards third. Opts to go to first. Coming in to score is Weissmiller. 5-3 on the out. RBI ground out. 2-0 Maryland, and it'll bring up Jake Holt. Holt has grounded out twice, once to short and once to second. His first pitch is a curveball over for a strike. I think that's the first breaking ball he's gotten as a called strike so far. The next one, that sounded like it hit him.
No signal from the umpire, though.
So we're just going to go with 1-1. The next one is down and in. 2-1 the count to Holt. .510 180. Now Dallas Town. The next one is over for strike two. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The count. Base is empty. Nobody or 2 out. A run in. 2-0 Maryland. Called strike 3.
Yeah, that pitch a little close, kind of high, but that in a 2-strike count there, a little bit too close to just take it.
Really is. And, you know, credit to Cavini for coming back in that one. He's had a little bit of a rough go with command early on, but he looks like he's starting to find it now. And again, there are going to be 6 outs this inning for Maryland to make up for the outs they did not get last inning. Smeltzer, the batter, move from left field to pitch. His first pitch is high and away for a ball. 1-0 the count to Grant Smeltzer. A 1-0. High chop out towards third. Nice job to play it on the big hop. Throw to first in time. 4 out in the inning. Something I never thought I'd say. Blaze Tanner, the batter.
I'm scoring this top 7 now. That's what I'm doing. I'm saying, the inning change still applies.
You know, I'm going to go with out number 4.
I like, you know what? Whatever floats your boat, man. Honestly, I like it. This is history. First 6 outs in a half inning that I could ever remember.
Just when you think you've seen everything. His first pitch is up high for a ball.
I'll tell you what, though. I was a baseball nerd growing up, and I'll never forget in 6th grade, my social studies teacher asked our class a trivia question, how many outs are there in an inning? I raised my hand and I said 3, and he said, no, there's 6. And I never felt more insecure in my life when I realized how I was wrong. So there are always 6 outs in an inning.
Yes, because if it's the top and the bottom of the inning.
Exactly.
Next pitch is high and away. 2-1 the count to Tanner. Flinch ball to follow. Zuniga after. Assuming the batting order remains as is. So next one bounces up 3-1. What time did this game start?
I believe we started just a couple minutes late. So It was slated to start at 1:30. I believe it was around 1:35.
Okay, just curious. Next one, down and in ball 4, so we'll reset to 0-1.
But don't quote me on that. I didn't know all 7 D1 schools in Connecticut, so what do I really know today?
You know there's 6 outs in an inning now. And in this case, 6 outs in a half inning. Fouled off counts, nothing in 2.
We're just having fun. Just 2 kids at the ballpark having fun today. That's how I feel, Chad.
It's just me looking at these Connecticut uniforms, and again, this also tells you that we're in the 21st out of 28 innings. Connecticut uniforms and the Maryland uniforms next to each other, I feel like Halloween's around the corner. The next one is outside for a ball.
It's actually a lot closer than you'd think, Halloween.
It really is, but I'm just like the black, the white, the orange.
It's true. The season is upon us, or at least it appears.
I mean, you know fall's coming when you hear hints about, the pumpkin spice latte coming up.
It's never too soon for a pumpkin spice latte.
Only if it's iced and sugar-free.
Fair enough.
That's 5 outs. So it'll bring up Flinchbaugh. Flinchbaugh is singled and flied out, 1 for 2. I don't think this is going on the demo reel for either of us.
What are you talking about?
At least not this inning.
This is my favorite inning I've ever done.
His first pitch is on the outside corner for a strike, nothing in 1.
I'm sending this in for the Jim Nance Award, even though I'm not in college anymore.
This next one, good downward action on that one. That's the pitch that we have not seen yet out of Cavini. That pitch with the sinking downward action. I think it was a changeup that just kind of the bottom just fell out of it. It's the 0-2. Called strike 3, and the side is retired. So after a run comes in, 6 straight outs for Cavini, we go to the bottom of the 7th, 2-0 Maryland. Tristan Jones to lead things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning for Connecticut, as they look to erase this 2-0 deficit that Maryland has built. Jones has been called out on strikes both times he's been up. Going to be facing Zach Scherzer, left-hander. His first pitch is over for a strike. Nothing in 1 the count. Scherzer, 6'2", 185 out of Daniel Boone High School. Next one is low for a ball. 1-1. Not sure if there's a Daniel Boone High School in Maryland. The only one I'm thinking of is in Birdsboro, PA. The next one bounces up for a ball. 2-1 the count. As we have noted, though, Maryland will pull players from all over. There are a couple of guys from Central Dauphin, from Central York, so would not be out of the question to get guys from Pennsylvania. As the next one bounces up for a ball again. 3-1 the count. So after a good first strike, Scherzer has missed with 3 in a row and bounced all 3 of them. The wind and the 3-1 fouled back. Go from 3-2. If the lineup holds, it'll be Brett Davino and Alberto Canalini to follow. 3-2. Upstairs ball 4. Reset to 0-2. Fastballs only. The wind and another, now an 0-2 is now a 1-2. The 1-2 is smacked out into right field, and that is going to get down for a base hit.
Textbook base knock to the other way. Jones sitting back on a fastball middle away. Extending the hands at that last second. And you got to learn at this level how to sit back. Just wait. A lot of right-handers typically anxious at that pitch. They'll roll over to shortstop, but a great job by Jones to stay back on it.
Scherzer's first. It is over for a strike. 0-1 the count to Davino.
I wonder if Scherzer's favorite pitcher in Major League Baseball pitches for the Washington Nationals.
Being from Maryland, possibly. The next one is skied out into shallow center. Catch made out there.
If you grew up a Nationals fan, that's got to be a weird coincidence because he wasn't always with the Nats. He started out in Detroit. Max Scherzer, obviously, we're alluding to. Excuse me, he did not. He started in Arizona.
Yes, he did.
And then he got traded to Detroit in a 3-way trade that included Curtis Granderson going to the Yankees. How dare I forget that?
Well played and well corrected. The first pitch to Canalini is low for a ball, 1-0. First round pick of the Diamondbacks. I was actually living in Northwest Michigan when Scherzer, or at least doing summers in Northwest Michigan when Scherzer was with the Tigers, and we always talked about the potential, but you never knew whether you were going to get good Max or bad Max that day. Well, there really isn't much bad Max anymore.
There is not. You look at the rotation they had at one point: Verlander, Scherzer, Porcello. And they never got past the first round of the playoffs with those 3?
Well, in fairness, Porcello was not Porcello. And,
right.
and here's the thing. Red Sox fans have a lot more of a happy memory of Rick Porcello than Tigers fans do. And again, having lived in Michigan at that time, Porcello never developed with the Tigers.
Well, what's interesting about Porcello, because he's from my area of Jersey, when he pitched at Seton Hall Prep, is he was throwing 99, 100 miles an hour in high school, right? And now, in the major leagues, as this gets fouled off down the right field line, he's throwing low 90s, but he's more effective than he's ever been before because he has a couple off-speed pitches. He's got that sinker, and it's a classic example of, all right, I don't have to overpower at 99, 100 if I learn how to hit spots consistently with 2 to 3 pitches.
I'll tell you what, what might have been with some of those Tigers teams was all about a relief pitcher that they lost due to elbow problems by the name of Joel Zumaya.
One of the greats at that era. He was a setup man for a while.
He was going to be what Jordan Hicks has become, and literally just threw out his arms. So the count's now 0-1. That was ball 4. Fastball is only from Scherzer at this point. Just his arm could not sustain throwing 102 miles an hour all the time. His next one is fouled off.
It's a shame. Those Tigers teams, look, I never liked them because I was a Yankees fan and they bounced us from the playoffs a lot of years. But Miguel Cabrera for 2 years was unstoppable. It was the most fun I ever had as a right-hand hitter watching somebody at that level do it the way he did it, man.
Now, my parents live in Richmond, Virginia, which is maybe half an hour outside of Justin Verlander's hometown. Game 1 of the World Series in '06, I remember I was driving around. It's like, you know what, I'm just going to drive into Goochland County. That's the name of the county, Goochland County. And I remember driving around as that one's grounded to second, short over to second for one, return to first, double play, and that will do it. Basically, I remember vividly seeing a sign that says, closed early, gone home to see Justin pitch. And that pretty much epitomizes how he is seen back home. That is the end of Game 3. Maryland wins it 2-0. We got one more on the docket for you coming up in about 20 minutes.